Let's understand the purpose of his attack was to get them to want to go back home. Because he says that many come here, they're not really asylum seekers, they're economic seekers, economy seekers, and so they then turn around and go home.
Yeah.
His purpose for the attack was to encourage them to turn and go.
Right. And
that's why he did it.
He does not. And here's the reason why I have a problem calling this a hate crime, because I don't think that goes far enough. Because, D'Ambroso, if somebody starts molesting your wife and they're of a different race, and you decide not only to hate that person for abusing your family, but now you start abusing everybody that race, at least you were triggered by something where you or someone you care about was victimized.
Post-judice rather than prejudice.
Okay, right. So, he was not victimized by any Hispanics, but yet he went after the least harmful Hispanics, the Hispanics that live in a Hispanic town way over in the other corner of the state.
Well, of course the guy was nuts, and we unequivocally condemn it, and so has everyone.
Right.
But I feel in some way that we've fallen into the classic trap, because we're not really talking about the Ohio shooter, nor will the media.
No.
We're part of that.
Again,
we'll hit it as a little footnote.
And let's get on to that
this
one.
This guy's a more classic leftist in Ohio.
Yeah, but what I want to say on this, to wrap it up, is that he's actually asking other people now to follow his lead. And it's like, follow what? Because this guy, he does not claim any association with any group. He actually says Trump has nothing to do with this. He said, I've held these beliefs for a long time. What we haven't heard is who are his influences? Who's his family? Because they're all in hiding right now.
Well, it's the media, and they play it both ways. The left has been allowed to do this because no one calls them out on it. It's a very effective strategy. They play these contradictory things, and they play both cards at the same time. And I'll give you a specific example. Well, it's the right of the entire third world to come here, and they should. At the same time, they believe that we are literally the Fourth Reich. Trump is literally Hitler. He's running literal concentration camps. Now, if you really cared about people from the third world, would you want to invite them to Hitler's Germany? No. But those are illogical things that cannot be held at the same time logically, but they get to play both cards. They do it very effectively because logic, reason, fact has nothing to do with political appeals. And they win this game all the time.
And they win it because of the media.
Yeah.
Because the media is complicit.
Partially, and it's effective. And listen, I'm as guilty as anyone else. I will wade into these arguments where we will talk about Trump is Hitler, blah, 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 over and over and over again. But we never talk about how Cortez is Stalin, or how Warren is Stalin. Okay. We'll talk about these racial attacks, and we'll buy into their leftists.
Because I do.
Okay, but
most of us.
Okay, but 3 weeks ago, I made this point, and then I doubled down, and I said, get ready, here I go. Politically incorrect. People who come from undeveloped countries, and I'm going to focus on Central South America in this, they don't have a lot of government services. They learn to be self-reliant. They learn to work hard. And in his manifesto, he assumes that they're all going to become welfare bums. And I'm sorry, but that doesn't fly.
Well, I'll push back. And this is almost like, this is a classical conservative thought that, people south of the border are natural conservatives. This is not true from the data we have. We could extrapolate it's true based on their fundamental, their Catholicism.
I did not say conservative.
Their value of family.
I said
hard work ethic.
About the self-reliance. They come from systems where they don't have
the
much
problem
to count on the government.
And I see that logically. I mean, in all the things that I mentioned, the problem is we do have the data, and at a clip of about 80%, the people south of the border want more government, and when they have the opportunity to vote legally, they vote for more government. And they identify social policy.
Government, what you mean is more funding, more
services,
stuff,
bigger government, and typically the far left candidates are who they support in Democratic primary, and they do vote Democrat.
Okay. Well, let me say, in Texas right now, I studied some numbers in Texas because Republican parties will be concerned about a Democrat insurgency in this next cycle. And they said Hispanics have voted in Texas 55-45, Democrat over Republican. In Texas, the immigrants that are Hispanic are nothing like the immigrants in California that are Hispanic. It's a different deal there, and I think there's an opening for a dialogue, and I think that the mainstream media is particularly scared to death.
Trump's doing this because, Trump garnered 400% of the Hispanic vote of any Republican candidate in history, in a similar proportion to African American.
And I think the media is trying very hard to keep Hispanics from identifying with the conservative pro-family.
And at the end of the day, people are rationally self-interested, and yes, there is this confluence of the left's emotional, highly influential rhetoric that trumps logic most of the time, being very effective and promulgated by the media, by academia, and even conservative talking heads, and the hard reality of, well, what do you want, promises or jobs? What do you want, wage growth or promises?
Right, but
and on the left you get promises, on the right you got positive outcomes.
Right, when it comes to things like divorce rate, Hispanic families tend to stay together more. You see more multi-generational families staying united. I mean, my goodness, I've had some neighbors that were Hispanic. I'm like, how many people do you fit in that little house? I mean, they learn to live. The ones I've seen, I'm only speaking anecdotally, they learn to live and make it even in tough times, and they stay together, family. To me, they are my ideological brothers.
It's almost as if people have to deal with their circumstances and learn to adapt to them.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, I would much rather have one of them living next to me than somebody from, let's say, Eastern Europe who's come out of socialism, and that's all they've ever known.
Well, you look at Honduras is basically socialist. Venezuela is socialist. I think the current Mexican president is a socialist.
That doesn't equate to more government services. But you have to understand that. Even though they
may not be able to provide them, but the people want them. That's the whole point of socialism, and why socialism is so.
When polled by Pew Research, the people that come from Salvador, the majority of them,
but the vast numbers
support.
And I'm only speaking anecdotally, but the vast numbers I've seen come here into my community, I've seen them earn it, work for it.
We all know great Hispanic. That's not the point. I mean, obviously, we probably all agree on this. It's more about ideology. I don't care what someone's background is.
Right.
I agree with Caitlyn, Bruce Jenner more politically, are both Trump supporters, than I do just about any Democrat. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I'd rather have conservative neighbors rather than leftist neighbors because they respect property rights. And what do we have to deal with our neighbors?
Absolutely.
Property right concerns. Of course they make better neighbors.
Sure.
So